All right, guys, and the work begins. Got Black Betty all jacked up here, ready to pull these wheels and tires off. And then I can get to this front suspension. We'll get that all pulled down, then I got to do some cutting and welding. So we also want to narrow this, so what that's going to involve, these are 2 inches wide, we're going to narrow it 4 inches, which is 2 inches on each side. So I got to cut 6 inches out of the beam and put 2 back. So that'll be fun. I need to get this one out of here and see what that beam looks like. So I'm gonna get to work, and we'll bring you back as this project progresses. How awesome is this? All right, guys, well, that was loads of fun. Yeah. Anyways, got the I-beam out of there, front suspension's out of there, and obviously tomorrow I got to start out just by cleaning it up, and then we'll be doing some cutting and welding and reinstall this with these adjusters in there. So yeah, made a little progress today, and we'll see you in the morning. I'm going to clean up this mess and get some rest, and big day tomorrow. We'll see ya. Well, good morning, guys. It is the next day, and what I am looking at is one greasy, grungy front suspension off of Black Betty. So what I'm going to start doing is dismantling and cleaning. Now we got new grease seals for these guys here, but I'm looking at these ball joints, and I believe we can press these out and install new ones. So that's one thing that's going to have to take place. Now the shock towers I got to cut off because we are narrowing this, and in the process of narrowing you're moving it over and it goes right up against here. So what my son says is, well, we just go without shocks. So okay, you're scraping the ground, I guess you don't need shocks. But anyways, I am gonna get busy taking this all apart and cleaning this up, and maybe later today I can do my cuts. I got to cut a total of 6 inches out of this, and then I put back 2, which leaves 4 inches, 2 on each side, of narrowing. So, and then these, of course, these are gonna have to get cut off because they got to be relocated 2 inches out on each side. So yeah, but I'm not gonna do anything with this until after I get it cleaned up, because that's a mess. Let's see, that thing is a 1968, we're in 24, so what's the math? About 60 minus 56 years old. Is that right? I don't know. Anyways, it's an old car. Lots of old grease. So I'm gonna get busy dismantling and cleaning. We'll see you in a bit. Alrighty, that was a messy job, but I think I got things pretty well cleaned up, and a little bit more scraping to do, but that's no big deal. Do some scraping, hit with some brake clean, finish that job up. This was a mess under here. I discovered black widows, all sorts of stuff under here, so decided to give that a spraying. So anyways, now it's time for some fabrication work. Now the fun begins. Now I have to remove these mounts for the front suspension, because after I take 6 inches out of here, return 4 or return 2, I have 4 inches, 2 inches per side, that these have to be moved out. So a nice little weld on them. Hopefully I can just cut through that and hit it with a hammer and things will get done. All right, that times 2. I won't bore you with the next one. Yeah, these guys put these VWs together pretty well, don't they? All right, I'm gonna get that other one off of there, and then we can cut the 6 inches out of the center after I pull the springs out. Anyways, there's gonna be a process. Well guys, got it all taken apart, and now I'm gonna go ahead and cut these shock towers off, because they got to come off, and then I am going to do the fabrication work on these tomorrow. So get busy cutting these up, and that'll be it. The demo will be done, and time to put things back together. How awesome. All right. All right, I wanted to do a little curve around that. I'll clean that up a little bit. Go ahead and weld a cap on there. And yeah, that'll be a good looking no more shock tower thing. All right guys, well, I'm gonna call it for today. Got a lot accomplished here. We got everything dismantled. There's the spindles under there, and got the torsions out, the arms off. Knocked these off there. That was a chore. Got a little bit of gouging going on there. That once I weld these in the proper place there, they'll probably be out about there after I take the 6 inches out. I'll have to do a little repair job. No big deal, but and I got the caps on after cutting off the shock towers. So this project is ready to move forward. Cutting the section out, putting this back in, 4 inches narrowed. Yeah, but for today, I'm done, and we'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning, guys. Today is an exciting day because we are going to cut and install these torsion adjusters into the beam and then get it all remounted into the car and see how it all fits and what we have to do about restoring some upper shock towers. I got a message on my Facebook post about this project. Well, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna have any shocks? And it's like, yeah, we plan on having shocks, but the way these stock shock towers fit into the car, we would have to do some major cutting up in here. So I'm gonna get the beam mounted in there and see what we can do to build some trick little shock towers out of plate. So we will have shocks, just not the stock shock towers. So I'm gonna get busy. I got to cut 6 inches out of this beam, basically 3 to 6 right there. All that's going to come out, and then the 2 inches of this will go back in. So I'm going to get busy doing some work, and I'm going to bring you back during the process here. Yeah, exciting day today. Now, one thing I don't want to do is fill this entire tube up with all the sparks, all the grindings, cuttings of making this cut, because they'll just flow back into there, and this has got bearings in there, grease and all that. So I'm going to use this stick and shove that in there. Far enough to prevent that. From spreading them cuttings. All right. And just like that, it's done. Now we'll get these lined up correctly. Now this is kind of neat here because we have 90 degrees difference there, kind of an option. I assume that's whether you're going to lower or raise the front suspension. You have that 90-degree option there. So as long as I put the springs in correctly, make these adjusters correctly, we'll be lowering instead of raising this car. So anyways, I'm going to work on cleaning this all up, and when I get to the welding part, I'll bring you back. So yeah, pretty cool. So now I got this beam sitting perfect, spaced. We got this angle there correct. These are heading straight down. So what I need to do now is mess with the springs. I want to get the springs cut, and you got to do this bevel here. Let me see if I can do this without getting too messy. We got a special bit to put this bevel in there. So these screws, when they're connected to the arms there, they go into there and secure the springs. So those have got to be in the right spot. And I don't want to go through having to fish the springs in and out while these are all welded in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tack one side very well so it doesn't move, and then be able to play then getting the springs all spaced properly, and then I can go ahead and weld it up, put the arms on, and it'll all be good. But I'm trying to think of what I'll have to go through, you know, in the next couple hours if I just weld this up and trying to fish them through, and you know, what a disaster. So I will weld up one side, tack it very well. I'm not going to weld it completely. I'm not going to weld this beam completely till I actually set it in the car and see how everything sits, because that'll be the final product. So yeah, everything's aligned properly. The spacing is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and tack one side very well, and then deal with these springs. These springs have got to be cut down 2 inches on each side, and then these little bevels need to be drilled in the right spot so they will match the arms when I install the arms. Any mistake on those and I'm buying new springs. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Work continues, and I'll be back in a little bit. Now this is a special bit to do this bevel, the correct angle and everything for those set screws. So now I cut a couple inches off of this, and this torsion will be done. That spring steel is some awfully hard stuff, and I tell you, them sparks got hot. Got hot even with the gloves on. But anyways, this torsion, after I clean it up, it is ready to install in the housing here. Once I get them installed, I'm going to put the arms on, make everything tight. Then I can go ahead and run my beads there. So got this torsion still to do, and yeah, this is all coming along. All right, I'll be back in a bit. All right guys, well, I pretty much have this thing put together now. I did just tack things into place. I'm gonna now set it up into the car and make sure everything fits before I go welding it solid. But all the torsion dimples or bevels that I cut, they all match perfectly. And I had to, this is where these were mounted originally, and you see where I had to cut them off. They have to be spread out so this actually bolts to the car. We got plenty of adjustment here, so I think this is going to be a go. But I just want to make sure it fits in the car, make sure these holes line up. This one is about a 32nd of an inch that way. I don't know how critical it's going to be. I'm about to find out. But yeah, this thing is sure looking cool. So I'm going to crawl under that car and put that into place and make sure it fits. Well guys, it's in there. Now, if there was any question about the shock towers, that's where they come up. So obviously they had to go. We will do something internally here to bring shocks. I'll build something maybe out of plate. That's the bottom mount there. Something to come out here, staying within the fender well, inner fender well. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna do today. Obviously, there's more work to go. This thing here for the steering stabilizer, that should be moved over a couple inches here, and the steering box has to get relocated, which means all of this, the pitman arm stop and all that, needs to be either removed or taken out of there. I might be able to move that on over, I don't know, but I'm gonna work on that tomorrow and then get ready for finishing up the front end. First thing I got to do tomorrow is clean this box. Oh my goodness, got about 60 years of gunk on that. And Monday morning we're gonna go to the local Volkswagen place here and have new ball joints put in here. These are just these are goners, and they got to press them in and everything, so they said they would do that for us, get that done. So yeah, definitely coming along. Thanks a lot guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right guys, well, after welding this front end all up, I put it all back together again. I haven't painted it yet because I still gotta determine where to mount this stabilizer here, and I'll have to, yeah, take the paint off that, put a good bead on that. I cut 2 inches out of this short tie rod, and then as you can see, I had to bottom out those the ball joints there. These are 2 inches long. You typically want them with about 1 inch of thread showing, so you have some adjustment there. So after narrowing the beam 4 inches, only you would think that 2 inches would do it there, but actually more needs to be taken out of that side. This, I have the alignment fairly straight, the toe fairly good, and you see how this has about a 1/2 inch there. So I could take a little out of this one, but of course that all will be determined by replacement of the steering wheel. I think the steering wheel is 180 degrees off, so I still have some playing around to do with the tie rods to get those correct, but I got the alignment right, pretty right now, pretty correct right now. And what I want to do, and why the wheels are back on, is because I want to set this thing down and see how this front end is looking, because in just a few minutes we're going to start tearing into this, and I need to know how much we're going to need to drop this so we level this car out. And I won't know that until I get it on the ground now and get a look and see how that front end's looking. You can see right there, I mean, them hanging, they don't hang as much as a stock VW. So I think when I drop it down onto the ground and put the pressure on it, that's gonna look cool. That's gonna sink up into the fender here. But everything is assembled. I'm gonna have to do some taking apart to do the paint job and everything, but you know, we got to get the mechanics right before we finalize everything with paint. So I'm gonna drop this thing down. We'll put it on the ground, we'll see what it looks like, and what it's going to take to level it up, how much we're going to have to drop the rear end. We won't know that until we see how low the front end is. So yeah, I'll bring it back when it's on the ground. I'm going to grab that floor jack and take some jack stands out, and yeah, this is exciting. All right, I'm going to get to work. All right, guys, this is looking totally cool. This front end is low. In fact, in order to get the jack out of there, we had to put it up on that little paver there. So, and there's some upward adjustment. If we have to bring it up a little bit, there's some adjustment there. It's basically as low as it can go right there. So, yeah, time to work on the back. I'm gonna start taking that apart right now, and hopefully we'll see this thing leveled out here later today. We'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, so we got both sides together. We went up on one tooth on both sides. So now we're just gonna put the wheels on and lower it back on the ground. All right, wheels are on. Let's lower it down. Jump on the rear end a little bit. Get that settled down there. Is this thing in neutral or roll it off? No, it's in gear. Where you going, man? Push it back. Well, that's sitting low, isn't it? This thing is looking really nice now. That's cool. So we went up a notch on the front beam. It's sitting a lot better now. Still very low, which is a good thing, right? Oh yeah. But it's gonna be functional now. Oh yeah. But it's looking absolutely great. Well, guys, it took a few days of mechanical work and fabrication, cutting and welding, but I tell you what, this thing turned out beautiful. Still got a few things to do on it. Upper shock towers, we want to do something about getting some shocks so we're not just pogo sticking down the road. And let's see, what else is there? The steering stabilizer needs to get mounted still. But I tell you what, that is going to be one sweet ride. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I'm glad you guys came along and saw what we were able to do with old Black Betty here. So be sure to like and subscribe and share the videos with your friends, and we'll bring more people along for the future projects we got going. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great evening.